Hi, I'm Nick Palmisciano, and this is the Bad News Network. In this week's news, lots of prominent Democrats and Trump detractors have had bombs delivered to either their homes or their offices. Contrary to many reports that said otherwise, both the FBI and the NYPD have confirmed that these were real, if not rudimentary, bombs. This was an actual series of assassination attempts, and regardless of your political ideology, you should take this seriously and as an affront to American democracy. The left immediately started attacking the right, blaming the entire thing on the politics of the day, apparently forgetting about the ricin attacks that happened literally a week ago, or the fact that a few months ago, a liberal shot at a bunch of conservative politicians at a baseball game. We even have the president of CNN blaming the entire thing on President Trump and his constant incendiary speech. On the other side of crazy, the Alex Jones fringe right has decided that this whole thing was probably a hoax set up by the Democrats to make Republicans look bad. Sure, I guess it's likely that a bunch of Democratic elites would probably want to set themselves up for felony convictions that could leave them in jail for life on the eve of an election that will probably see them winning the House, the Senate, or maybe both. Yeah, that makes sense. And if you think that's the case, then you probably think the Earth is flat, hate vaccines, and feel like no one's ever actually landed on the moon, but it all happened in a Hollywood studio. Enough of this nonsense. There is only one person responsible, and that's the person that sent the bombs. Yes, there's incendiary commentary right now. Yes, the president exudes dickish behavior virtually every day. Yes, he's even joked about punching Hillary supporters. And yet here we are, 99.99999% of us, going to work, going to bars, going to restaurants, going to the gym, walking the streets, going to the mall together, not trying to murder each other. But if we absolutely have to blame speech for these events, then we should be blaming our own speech, all of us. Because neither President Trump or Hillary Clinton or Elizabeth Warren or even Alex Jones determine my actions. So when you rage tweet that people that don't think like you are garbage, when you go out of your way to shut down reasonable exchanges, and when you build silos where basically everyone in your little social media group thinks exactly like you and everybody that doesn't is like the enemy, you're the problem. Because while 99.99999% of us can say anything we want and still never cross that line, that one weirdo idiot that wanders into our groups and starts believing all of it, that gets fired up when we all complain about the other side, the one guy that is willing to shoot up a school or send bombs is influenced. Because when we talk about an impending war coming up at this next election and we really mean a heated political debate, this guy hears war. This guy thinks he needs to fight the fight for his team, that he's going to be the hero, for his side, for our side. And yeah, politicians might stoke those flames, including the president, but we are the ones that allow them to be amplified. Again, I'm not saying it's anybody but the bomber's fault, but if we're willing to blame the president and politicians and everyone else under the sun, and we're not willing to look at our own actions, our own unreasonable debates, our own incendiary voices, we're not being honest with ourselves. Here's to hoping that the FBI gets this person and that no one is injured before that occurs. Over 7,000 migrants are currently in Mexico marching towards the United States border. They're currently roughly 1,000 miles from the border and they're traveling about 20 to 30 miles a day, which is impressive because we can't even get military Humvees to drive that far without breaking down. Mexican officials claim they're unable to stop this caravan, but off the record, Officer Juan Gonzalez told us we actually could stop them, but President Trump's been kind of a dick to us and stuff, so we're just gonna kind of let them march through. Seriously, I actually feel for these migrants because in addition to being born in a shithole country...
Can't say shithole country.
Sorry, horseface country.
No, can't say horseface either.
Okay, a country that lacks the economic and social freedoms of the United States of America.
That's acceptable for now.
Okay. In addition to all of that, they are actually marching north and are about to get hit with a Mexican hurricane. That's just bad luck. Seriously though, migrants, I'm sorry to say this, but you're not getting in. Even if you actually have a great reason to get in, this is now a political issue, and there is no way that Trump is letting it happen. There's already 2,000 National Guard on the border, with 1,000 active duty heading that way, plus border control. Like, you're gonna end up being intense for years while this is just a political scab that both sides pick and continue to talk about for like the next 5 years. That's your future. I would just go back. We now go live to sports correspondent Matthew Finney with an update on the Boston Red Sox and the Dodgers.
Thanks, Nick. Field correspondent Matt Finney here, reporting that the Red Sox are 2 games up in the World Series and headed out to LA to take on the Dodgers on their home turf, possibly win out on the field. Back to you, Nick.
Thanks, Matt, for that poignant outlook on the Red Sox and the Dodgers. A soldier at Fort Polk and his mistress were arrested this week for murdering his wife. Soon-to-be forever Private Logan Kyle was riding shotgun with his Jody, Sarah Parker, and Ms. Parker's 2 children while his dead wife was in the trunk. They apparently were so loud and stupid about it that when they decided to try to stuff a body into the back of a car full of kids in broad daylight in a suburban neighborhood, people noticed and stuff and called the cops. The police stated, "We usually get calls after a body is found. This is a first." Which is actually a really nice way of saying these people are really f***ing stupid. In an update from last week's Khashoggi murder and the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkey, the Saudis have decided to change their story a few times. Story 1, this didn't happen. He's alive and well. Story 2, okay, it may have happened, but we definitely did not do it. Story 3, okay, it happened, but it's not what you think. A fight broke out between Khashoggi and 15 dudes, and they just happened to like get into an incident with a bone saw and some lye. We've all been there. Story 4, okay, it happened, and the 15 guys happened to be on what some people might call a death squad, but that is pure coincidence. And the current story, story number 5. Okay, they are a death squad, they did plan it, it was premeditated, but the Saudi crown absolutely knew nothing about it and had nothing to do with the planning. They just went rogue. The US responded harshly to this new information, revoking the visas from the death squad. Wait, what? That's it? That's all we did? Look, I like money too, but that is some cold shit. Fame-seeking lawyer Michael Avenatti and his client Julie Swetnick have been referred to the Justice Department for bringing false allegations against Justice Cavanaugh to both the FBI and the Senate. For those of you that can remember as far back as 3 weeks ago, there was this Justice Cavanaugh. He wanted to be on the Supreme Court, but a woman came out and said that there had been some sexual misconduct back in high school. Her name was Dr. Smith? Chase, no, it was definitely an F word, I can't remember. Wait, where was I going with this? Megyn Kelly was fired from NBC yesterday for stating on her show that she doesn't feel there's anything wrong with doing blackface for Halloween and that she did it when she was a kid. Megyn!
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
In international news, Jair Bolsonaro is likely to win the Brazilian presidency after winning 46% of the vote in the first round. The far-right candidate is known for his slurs against women, black people, and members of the LGBT community. His first-round win set off a wave of violence that resulted in 70 members of those communities being attacked, and also a renowned gay capoeira master being murdered. This type of anti-trade, anti-freedom, nationalistic candidate can pose a real threat to what many people see as the center of South American progress in the country of Brazil. But also, can we finally admit in light of this news that capoeira is really just a lot of fancy dance fighting and not a real martial art? Canadian rapper John James McMurray fell to his death this week in British Columbia while filming his next and final rap video. How does a hardcore rap game end up getting convoluted with the laws of gravity? Well, I'll tell you. McMurray's video shoot involved him hanging from the wing of a plane while rapping hardcore into GoPros. Unfortunately, his movement caused the Cessna to start spiraling out of control, throwing McMurray from the plane. McMurray was unable to deploy his parachute and dropped his last beat upon impact. You know, if this teaches us nothing, it's that the rap game is brutal. You either get rich or die flying. And finally, an announcement has just been made that they are remaking the Titanic brick for brick, and that they are going to travel the same route as the original Titanic. Gosh, I hope they don't sink too much money into this.
Wait 1 minute. There's breaking news that Nick's on a flight to the Vet Expo. So I, Thomas Sylvanus Hunt, am stepping in. The FBI has tracked down and apprehended the 56-year-old Florida man, Caesar Sayic. And as expected, he's batshit crazy. He's like the MAGA Unabomber, but without the degree from MIT that, makes the bombs work good. So, bombs were found, everyone is safe so far, and the crazy guy is caught. That concludes this breaking report. I'm better than you, Nick.
And with that, I'm Nick Palmisano, and this is the Bad News Network. Our news is at least as bad as the news you're getting already, and if you're in the Dallas area this weekend, I'm gonna be at Vet Expo.